This video is sponsored by ExpressVPN. Keep watching for more information and a special offer. Well, it's been an interesting few weeks on this channel, and my wife tells me that I've become increasingly bad-tempered recently, so I suppose that's a sign that I need to return to some more light-hearted subjects. And although it's a bit early, I decided that I would take a look at one of Germany's most perplexing New Year's Eve traditions. For decades now, the German state broadcaster has been showing a British sketch called Dinner for One every New Year's Eve. And the really odd thing is that very few British people have ever even heard of it. It was filmed in 1963, but it wasn't broadcast on British television until 2018. It stars Freddie Frinton as James, butler to Miss Sophie, who's celebrating her 90th birthday, played by May Warden. Unfortunately, her 4 friends are all dead, so James has to play all of their parts, causing him to become more and more drunk as the evening wears on.
And dear Mr. Winterbottom.
Well, here we are again, old love is to me and thee, last blessed old.
Now, the exact origins of the sketch are unclear, but in the 1960s, Frinton was performing it in theatres in Britain. And one day, by chance, his audience included the German entertainer Peter Frankenfeld and the director Heinz Dunkhase. They invited Frinton and Warden to perform the sketch on Frankenfeld's TV show. Frinton, who'd fought in the Second World War, was very reluctant, but eventually agreed on condition that he wouldn't have to do it in German. Well, the audience loved it. It was such a hit that the pair were invited back a couple of months later to record it on videotape. It was recorded in English, but with a German language introduction to explain the setup. It was never supposed to be a New Year's Eve thing. The occasion is actually Miss Sophie's birthday, and it was first broadcast in the summer. After that, it was occasionally used to fill gaps in the schedule at various different times of the year. In 1972, it was shown on New Year's Eve, and a tradition was born. If you ask most people why that is, they'll usually explain that it's to do with this line.
Oh, by the way, the same procedure as last year, Miss Sophie?
The same procedure as every year, James.
But in fact, there's another recurring line that most people miss.
Mr. Pomeroy?
Happy New Year, Sophie.
Incidentally, if you search YouTube for this piece, you'll find that it looks slightly different. It's a bit shorter, it lacks the German language introduction, and the set is plainer. That's because the one on YouTube is a version made for Swiss television. And it was recorded a few months before the German version was. It was broadcast once in 1963 and then never again until 1982. In fact, it turns out that even in 1963, it wasn't completely unknown to German audiences. It had been performed and broadcast live in 1961, 2 years before it was discovered by Frankenfeld and Dunkhase. Unfortunately, there is no existing recording of this broadcast. Even some of the details of the classic 1963 recording are a bit unclear. According to one source, it was filmed in a theatre in front of a live audience. According to a different source, there was no audience there, and the sound of laughter actually comes from the wife of the chief lighting technician. This story includes the detail that her laughter was so loud that it almost caused the recording to be stopped. But if you listen to it, you can very clearly hear there's more than one person laughing. So either the rest of the crew was laughing just as much, or there was a laugh track added in post-production, or the story simply isn't true. What is true is that when explaining some of the English phrases for the benefit of a German-speaking audience, the announcer made a small mistake. Every year, people would write into the broadcaster to complain, "Welcome to Germany," until 1988, when the audio track from a rehearsal was used to dub over the mistake. This sketch, and especially the recurring line, "Same procedure as every year," is now so ingrained in popular German culture that Germans are regularly surprised to discover that Brits have never even heard of it. It has been translated and performed in German and parodied many, many times. As for Frinton, who died in 1968, he probably wouldn't appreciate the fact that he's achieved cult status in a country that he never really liked or trusted, but in his home country has sunk into obscurity. A big thank you to my sponsor ExpressVPN. If you're looking for a reliable VPN service, then use this address or the link in the description to sign up for a 12-month subscription and get the first 3 months free.